the league in kicks out of bounds inside the 20. And as he has gotten older, he has gotten more mature, has learned to use his talents. Really has amazing numbers, Charlie.
That's a nice way of stating it. I like the
well,
way
those graybeards find a way to do it.
That's true. That's true. Guy kicking to Paul Scancer. And he'll go for that opposite corner inside the 20. And he will get it inside the 20 right out at the 15. Wanted about 5 more, but he'll take it. 23 yards. He's got it, though. The Seahawks have the ball first down at their own 15. We'll be back. 2 to go in the first quarter, 6 yards. Not an impressive offensive
It's
start.
not impressive, Charlie, but they've done one thing that they felt they had to do against the Raiders. They've thrown it deep several times. The percentages on those deep passes, and this is the Raider axiom, are not good. But if you get one, it's worth it all.
Checknock told us he was going to do that yesterday. He wanted to stretch him out. We asked him immediately, isn't that a change of philosophy? He said, of course it is. This pass to Darrell Turner out of bounds at the 24-yard line. Mike Haynes was there for the defense. Now for an update is Bob got to carry the ball and be a receiver.
Sure, every lineman wants to do that, Charlie, but boy, I tell you, that's embarrassing for Green Bay's defense.
2nd down and 1, a gain of 9 on the previous play. Here's Kurt Warner just trying to slice into. Now, here's where Kurt Warner is so good. Almost every other running back would have been stopped around a yard gain, and he simply gets yardage when it's not there.
Charlie, I'm surprised that the Seahawks didn't throw on that second short. That's almost a giveaway down. On the down previous, that little out pattern for Turner, though, that was the dividend being paid on those deep shots early.
Yeah.
Here is the percentage of the running game for the Seahawks. You can see the change over the last 3 years. This year in particular, partly because they're losing, but also because they've had to lean more and more heavily on the passing game as they just haven't been able to run.
First down, Seattle, their 28-yard line. Little play action fake. There's pressure. The pass is deep, and it is complete to Largent, and he's out of bounds. Just shy of the 40-yard line. And for Steve Largent, that is consecutive game 116. As the streak continues, he's aiming for Harold Carmichael in 127 games.
Right at the end of the play, Largent is a master. Look at him get those toes down. And one thing he may have gotten away with on that play, he was juggling that football a little bit. Right toward the end, the official calling the completion. They moved the ball out, just barely nosed up on the 40-yard line.
First down, Seattle, no score, 5:11 time remaining. We're in the first quarter. Almost in a feeling out here. Here's Kurt Warner. And he has 3 to the 43. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Patel makes the tackle, and the flag is down.
Well, I think they threw the flag on Millen for using a forearm rip on somebody, or here it is. Well, and this is one of the things that happens in a game where you're playing against a rival you meet as many times. These teams have met 6 times in the last 2 years in games that counted. And these people just don't like each other that well. Watch Miller, number 55. You'll see him coming back in on Kurt Warner right here. Standing up. Here's the shot. Whoa, we're going to miss the shot, but it just off the right-hand side of your screen. Little battle going on. Someone trying to block Millen, and he just ripped him with a forearm.
At the Los Angeles 42-yard line with the penalty, it's first down. Personal foul. 15 yards. No score. 4:52 and counting. Time remaining. We're in the first quarter at the Kingdom. Craig to throw. A holding call will go against the Raiders. This is complete to Largent. It'll be a gain of 10. It's not going to stand up.
Charlie, I'm impressed so far, even though there was a holding on that play, with the kind of protection that Zorn is getting. This Raider defense just attacked Dan Fouts last week. I said Craig. Zorn is in Green Bay.
We were watching Zorn in the Green Bay game.
We were watching him play earlier, but Craig is getting excellent protection.
Holding, number 59, offense, first down.
Holding on Blair Bush, the center.
The Raiders getting 6 sacks last week against San Diego, but even more importantly, hit him 21 times after he released the ball. And that kind of beating really pays giant, ugly dividends against an offense. There you saw the call being thrown on one of the interior linemen for Seattle.
First down and 20. Seahawks ball at their own 48-yard line. 4-man rush. Going to swing out to the right side, and this is Andre Hardy. A flag is down as Hardy goes to the 50-yard line, possibly a face mask call. Reggie McKenzie was there.
Reggie knew it. He knew it, Charlie, and that's the kind of mistake that's very costly. You've got a team backed up, long yardage, and that'll give them an automatic first down, I believe.
Andre Hardy recently joining the Seahawks. He is there, of course, because of Dan Dornick out with a knee injury. Dornick on injured reserve, cannot come back this week, can come back next week. Hardy signed as a free agent. He was the Eagles' #5 draft choice in '84 out of St. Mary's College and Hoover High School in San Diego.
Unnecessary roughness, number 56 on the defense, will be declined. Face mask, number 54 on the defense, 15 yards, first down.
Well, now that's the big penalty. They're calling him for tackling by the face mask. And Charlie, I don't think he had the face mask. I think he had a hold of the shoulder, and it looked like he had the mask. I couldn't see the mask at the last minute there. I couldn't see him tackling with it. Maybe we can see it better from this angle. Well, no, it's from the backside. There he has the shoulder. He has the jersey, and it looked like he had the mask.
And with the other hand underneath, he has the shoulder pad, and when he jerks it, it looks as if the head is jerked down as if he had him by the mask.
Well, that's an unfortunate penalty, but that comes with the Raider reputation. And that comes with the kind of things that that some of these Raider teams have done in the past, but they're going to get some unfair flags. That one was unfair.
First down at the 34-yard line of Los Angeles. The Raiders in last Monday night's game against San Diego were not penalized in the second half. Here's Kurt Warner. 32-yard line, just a couple. Second down and 8, and Howie Long makes the tackle. First quarter, the Jets very quickly out in front of Indianapolis. San Francisco leading Philadelphia 7-0. Rams leading New Orleans 7-0. Phone home. We need you left it.
Well, the Seattle fans are a little frustrated. They expected so much this year, and a 500 season at the midway point is not what they had in mind.
Kurt Warner, 7 carries, only 15 yards.
Oh,
he got an isolation. Darrell Turner, single coverage by Mike Hayes. That's what he wanted. Had just about half a step on it.
One-on-one, and Largent was getting some heat. Watch the battle between these two here. Turner gets away, gets enough room here, and you see McElroy trying to get over to help. Simply cannot do it. That ball thrown a little early. Let's go back and look at the kind of heat they're putting on right here. It's Howie Long. Ooh, Warner trying to step in and take Long. Just gets decimated on that play. That's why the ball had to be thrown early.
It's third down and 8. The ball at the 32-yard line. Now, number 75, Howie Long. You'll see. Craig's going to see him coming from the right, from the left, and over the middle. He'll be all around.
He's everywhere on this defense, and they do that deliberately.
Largent Thorne's got it, and is jacked by Stacy Turan, but he holds on. 21 yards.
The Raiders with extra DBs on the field. The key here is that Craig is able to step up away from the pressure. Right there, got a little extra time, and Largent had simply beaten everyone on that play.
Oh, there was blown assignment. He was all alone in the second.
He really had blown. And I think maybe that may have something to do with McElroy's injury, Charlie. They've been scrambling in that secondary.
11-yard line, first down. This drive started back at the 15. Here's Warner. Warner slides to the 6, a gain of 5. Second down and 5. Alzado hit him, and the pushing and shoving continue. Who is the intimidator and who is the intimidatee? Well, you can rank pluses and minuses on both sides. Well, they stand up to each other.
Warner's still angry. Let's see what happened on that last play. They're going in behind a little trap block. It's Hardy coming over from a wing position. There's a shot by Rod Martin on Hardy, who come out to block him with a trap. I think that started the action right there.
We're moving on the 2-minute mark in the first quarter. No score. The Seahawks moving on the end zone. Timing pass in the corner. Lester Hayes does not look around. There is no flag. Incomplete. Turner, the intended receiver.
Lester Hayes has to read the receiver's eyes. And there goes a flag. We've got some pushing and shoving again. I think still something with Rod Martin. He's coming back into the middle of it. But we mentioned the bad blood between these two teams, and you'll see it showing throughout this game. They simply don't like each other. And they have exhibited that on a number of occasions.
And I think Lyle Alzado is the leader that don't like.
Alzado certainly is the most vocal.
Unnecessary roughness. Number 65 on the offense.
That's Edwin Bailey, the left guard.
And I think there's an indication that the Seattle Seahawks, and Knox said it the other day, he said, we won't be intimidated. I think sometimes, in their desire not to be intimidated, they become the instigators in what's happening on the field.
And I'm also wondering, earlier today in the ballgame between Chicago and Green Bay, there was, I think it started with a fight, and it just continued. And I wonder if that type of play is spilling over into this ballgame. If that is set, in reality, the scene for this rival.
It could easily be, but Charlie, if we look right now on the field and look at what's happened to that great field position.
Throwing the dead ball after an incomplete pass. Lost it down.
That's a loss. Oh, what a costly foul. Losing not only the yardage, but also the down. That's about as tough a penalty as you can get, except for an ejection.
So it is 3rd down and 20. The ball back at the 22-yard line. And there was probably a misread. Large at the intended receiver. He read the coverage, so he would come back inside. Craig read the coverage, so he'd go back outside. And it is 4th down. That means that Norm Johnson, who had his problems last week, will be kicking. He was 0 for 3.
He certainly did, Charlie. He missed 3 against the Jets. Any one of them could have tied the game. 2 of them could have won it. One of the problems I think he's had is in the hold. He lost his favorite holder, Zorn. Largent is the holder now, and that's very critical. Where you put that ball down. We're going to try and take a look at that during this game to see if we can show you that spotting by the holder. In fact, we'll do it on this play if we have time.
39-yard field goal attempt to break the scoreless tie. And he's got it. He was missing by 3 or 4 inches, and that can be devastating.
That's hard. That makes the kicker adjust.
Norm Johnson kicking off to either Sam Seal or Fulton Walker. Seahawks lead it 3-0. And at the goal line, here is Sam Seal. And he returns just to the 20-yard line. The Raiders have won 5 in a row. They are going today for their 6th in a row. Now look at these numbers. What does that remind you of?
Charlie, those were very famous numbers for anybody who followed these Raiders. I'll tell you, those years anyway.
Super Bowl win 1, Super Bowl win 2, Super Bowl win 3. They're 3 Super Bowl victorious years. They had those streaks, 5, 6, and 10. This year they have 5. Today going for 6, but trailing 3-0 with just over a minute and a half to go in the first quarter at the Kingdom. Little play action fake, and a flag is down. And while we have this momentary timeout, let's join them out. Now in the West, we've got a pair of upsets working. I know that it's early, but at least they're working. This game and San Diego, Denver. Thank you, Ahmad. Here's Marcus Allen. And Marcus has 5 yards to the 20. Kenny Easy with the tackle. He's 2nd down and 10. Now, I made a statement, Merlin, and the line on the game, the Seahawks are favored by 1. I didn't understand it. I asked you your opinion. You said it's very simple. In reality, the Raiders are favored by 5, but the Kingdom and their fans are favored by 6, and that's +1 for the Seahawks.
I think it's universally agreed, Charlie. This is the toughest stadium to play in the league because of the noise and because of the kind of intensity these fans generate. I think you've got to give it about 6 points.
2nd down and 10 is Marcus Allen for 5 more to the 25. So it'll be 3rd down and 5. Jeff Bryant with the tackle. Now, you played in the Kingdom at the end of your career. Were they as noisy then? They weren't as successful. Were they as noisy?
They weren't winning a lot in those days, Charlie. And the way to quiet a crowd down is to get ahead. Very simply. When you talk to the Raider coaches and players, they have one objective in this ball game is early on to establish some kind of dominance to quiet this crowd down. They haven't been able to do it so far. Ooh, they're noisy.
They are. Now, Mark Wilson says the crowd noise is too much. This time, Chuck Everling, the referee, agrees with him. If you weren't with us earlier in the ballgame, he thought he had it, stepped away, but the referee said no.
Charlie, you know what he's saying to him right now? He's saying, just stand there and wait. I won't let the clock run out on you. I'll stop the time, but you've got to be ready. Stand there and wait. And that's what the NFL officials are instructing the quarterbacks to do now. Now, if you did what quarterbacks used to do, go back to the huddle and come back out, the crowd is just going to be noisy anyway.
And the same thing happened in the Green Bay-Chicago game right before the touchdown pass to the refrigerator.
The same thing happened, Charlie, to this Raider team back in Cleveland in a critical series right at the end of the ball game. They had long delays, but they were able to come back on a 60-yard drive. Mark threw a touchdown pass to Todd Christensen with 29 seconds on the clock to win that critical game.
Meanwhile, we've got a double wave going in the Kingdom. Do you like this crowd control rule, or do you like the college rule where they, it's a penalty against the home team and they take a timeout away?
Charlie, I think the NFL is going to have to address this problem because it's taking the action off the field. Mark finally says that's enough waiting. Let's go with the play here.
They're down at 5. Now, another way to stop it, they are testing it. I talked to Jim Arrington of Telex Communications in Minneapolis last night, and that is the microphones in the headset that they experimented with. They had one particularly good ball game in Houston and Dallas. They're going to experiment with the National Football League preseason again next year. So that may be the answer.
I don't think the tape on those helmets is helping, Charlie. Now the Seahawks players are finally motioning to the fans. Let's see if the fans respond to that. Well, good luck.
All clocks are stopped. There's 21 seconds left to go in the first quarter. That's the tape you were talking about.
There we go.
Doki Williams in motion, reverses. Wilson to throw. Has pressure, goes down. First down.
Jackson, number 24 on the blitz. And after all of that waiting, Mark Wilson catches the blitz. They weren't able to pick it.
But they still are letting the punt go. Guy kicking to Scansey, who feels it at the 29-yard line. The gun went off when the ball was in the air. It's a 53-yard kick, but the time had run out.
Ray Guy is not happy about that. He kicked a great one.
He had what, a 53-yarder?
53 yards. He's got to try again.
But at least he's not going with or against the wind.
No, that's true, Charlie.
And this is not near as good. This is taken by Kenny Easy, the up back. Easy breaks it to the 40. Easy cuts back to the 35. And hit for the sideline. Great field position at the 27-yard line. Little play action, fake and reverse to Largent. Warner, can he get it? He's got it in zone. Touchdown.
The Kingdom erupts in celebration. Kurt Warner getting deep down the sideline. A little fake of a reverse right there to Largent. And that opened a little space. But basically that is just a fine throw and a fine catch. Dive into the end zone. Brad Van Pelt trying to cover man on man. And that's a bad matchup for the linebacker on the running back.
Extra point attempt. Largent to hole. Norm Johnson is blocked. It is blocked. I believe it was Sean Jones, 6'7", 275-pounder. Norm Johnson will be kicking off. A 9-0 ball game. His extra point attempt was blocked. We'll show you that right after the kickoff. Number 43 is Sam Seal. 41 is Fulton Walker. And here's Walker at the 7. And he returns to the 23, maybe the 24-yard line.
Let's look at that last play Deshaun Jones right here is just going to bury himself in there and use that big, long frame of his to get his arms up in the air. Number 99, watch him stretch out right there. His right arm blocking that ball away. Boy, the penetration and his height paid big dividends on that play. And Jones, the man who knocked it away, Charlie, that could be critical later on in this game.
Number 2 draft choice in 1984 in his second year. Played his collegiate ball at Northeastern. And he has 4 sacks on the year. 9-0 ball game. Seahawks lead it. And we have 14.5 minutes to go in the first half. Wilson, all the time in the world to Marcus Allen. Slips the tackle.
Charlie, one of the reasons that he had all that time to throw is he's getting good protection from his offensive line. On Jacob Green, who's number 79 for the Seahawks, it's 70. Henry Lawrence, who's been down all week with the flu, but he is doing a fine job today. You see the little lock up there, number 70 on 79. Just a couple of bulls banging heads. Little help from Frank Hawkins, number 27, who's back there late on the play. But it turns out to be a nice gain. They'll have about second, 2.5 yards to go.
Raiders need to get something uncranked here in this drive. Intercepted. Keith Butler. With a 32-yard return and was shaken up, and there you see him when he was hit on the sideline.
Mark Wilson can't believe it. Trying to gun this ball to the inside. Look first at his tight end Christensen. Now trying to go into the inside to Dokie Williams, and just a fine play by Butler. I think he read the quarterback's eyes and cut the ball off as it headed in toward Dokie Williams. Dokie, I think the man who ran him down, in fact it was.
First down. I expect Seattle to go right to the end zone. Try to capitalize quickly, and they do. And it is incomplete. Largent is overthrown, and it'll be second down and 10 back at the 13-yard line.
Largent is such a graceful receiver, Charlie. Does not have the blazing speed of some, but look at that footwork. I think Mike Haynes was in the huddle too. I think he knew it was going long. You see the chuck right there, and you see Haynes looking right into Largent's eyes. Largent never raised his hands because he knew the ball was not catchable. Didn't want Haynes to have a chance at it.
14 minutes and 13 seconds. Time remaining, second quarter. Seahawks lead it. The score is 9-0. Craig he's throwing this one away. He was getting pressure, and Kurt Warner was down and 10. That is Byron Walker in motion. Looping pass, and it is over the head of Scansky. He couldn't get to it. He tripped just momentarily, but it's just one of those things that happens, and we'll have a field goal attempt.
I asked Bob Kreider about playing against Howie Long, and he said, hey, he said, I had Gastineau last week. He said, when does this thing let up? But he said that one thing that Howie does that Gastineau won't do, he'll attack you. Gastineau will try and get around you, try and finesse you with his great speed. He said, Howie Long just comes on you and tries to kill you.
That's one way of expressing it, yeah.
Doesn't look that mean, does he?
No, he doesn't. Norm Johnson 1 for 1 with a 39-yarder. This will be from just outside the 20, so an attempt of 30 yards. Largent to hold. The hold becoming more and more important as the key, and he's got it. Good snap, good hold. And there it is from 30 yards away. And the Seahawks have moved on top 12-0.
Ross, new face, will maybe get a shot at him later, but they missed Tice on special teams. Great special team.
And Johnson kicking off. And Sam Seal will down it in the end zone. Well, and thus far, the offense of the Los Angeles Raiders has looked like a jigsaw piece that got mixed inside the wrong puzzle. But they had a short week.
There are the numbers on the day. 4 for 8, 34 yards, and 2 interceptions. Now, that is the alarming number. Wilson has only had 5 on the year. And, Charlie, maybe the short week did hurt them. They won a very big game for them against San Diego. They've had less practice time. They had to travel. But I don't think any of those are the kinds of excuses that they would make for themselves. They just have not gotten themselves going in this game. They better not wait too long.
And what were the Seattle Seahawks doing on Monday night? Were they watching the Raiders? No, they were having a Halloween party. So they started the week entirely different. And Marcus Allen starts it for the Raiders, and he has 3 yards to the 23. It'll be 2nd and 7 as Jeff Bryant makes the tackle. But it has been a shaky start, hasn't it, for the Raiders?
Very shaky start for them. But, you know, here we are in a game that it's certainly not going to be won in my mind by 12, even by the 12 points on the board, Charlie. So all they need is 2 touchdowns. They thought right now, let's just get the first of those 2. They need to get moving on offense.
13 minutes and 18 seconds time remaining. We're in the 2nd quarter at the Kingdom. And it's Marcus Allen.
Marcus carried the ball last week 30 times, Charlie. I talked to Al Davis during the week at practice, and I said, can he do that week in and week out? And he said, no, we can't run Marcus that much. But in this situation where they need to get something going, they go back to Marcus Allen.
He's carried it 9 times for 36 yards.
He may go over 30 today.
He may. You're right. He may.
But that doesn't ensure you're going to win, Charlie. You've got to, you know, people say all you have to do is run the football to win. That's not necessarily true. You've got to make yardage with those runs.
And touchdowns.
And touchdowns.
That's right. 3rd down and 2. You look for him to run here. And you've got some jumping.
Jacob Green was way off sides. I don't know if anyone moved over there, but he was clearly in the backfield.
Encroachment, number 79 on the defense, 5 yards, 1st down.
Is he playing a guessing game with a snap count?
A lot of defensive linemen do that, Charlie, and very often it gets you in trouble. In fact, Joe Klecko talked about last week's game against Seattle. He said, we knew that Craig was going to go on 2, and we were guessing with him. You do that sometimes in a passing situation in particular. I don't know if he was guessing or just thought he saw something and jumped on that one.
Jesse Hester coming in motion. Wilson has pressure and goes down. Bruce Schultz got him. 2nd sack for the Seahawks.
One of the things that Seattle has talked about when they talk about Schultz is his likeness to the Mad Stork, Ted Hendricks, the same kind of size, and showing you an impact play of that kind as he gets around Hawkins. Great job there. Wilson almost got away, but look at the strength in those hands. Schultz with one hand able to get a hold of Wilson's jersey and pull him down.
It's a shirt tail tackle.
Well, I'll tell you, that is exactly.
Yeah.
The Raiders continue to sputter on offense.
2nd and 11. Time for the Raiders to show going deep. Crossing pattern over the middle. Pass is complete to Marcus Allen, and he's got a 1st down at the 47-yard line of Seattle. 21 yards of the play. Big play.
Kenny Easley, a double responsibility on that last play. His first job was to chuck Todd Christensen at the line of scrimmage, try and throw him off his timing. You'll see him doing that right here. Number 46, Easley trying to get a bump on him there. Now he sees Marcus coming out of the backfield, has to cover him, and was not in position to get in front of Marcus. In fact, really not there until the play was finished.
Seattle out in front, 12-0. The Raiders with the ball, and just under 11 minutes to go in the 1st half. Marcus Allen. And this is the first time the Raiders have looked good. Fred Young with the tackle.
Finally getting something moving here. And 2 plays in a row, they've utilized Marcus's ability as a pass catcher. He is such a dangerous weapon.
And we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
KPNX TV, Channel 12, Phoenix Mesa.
This is Charlie Jones, Merlin Olsen. Michael Jackson is limping for the Seahawks. And the Seahawks lead the Raiders 12-0 with just over 10.5 to go now. In the 1st half, I'm Charlie Jones along with Merlin Olsen. Whoa. Marcus Allen not trying to go airborne as much as just to climb a pile of players that time, and he was met at the top.
He just wanted a first down, and it's going to be very close, but a tremendous surge by the Seattle Seahawks. Watch that hole close right there. Looked like it was there. 51, Sam Merriman doing a good job. Jacob Green in there. Greg Gaines, 56, and right at the bottom of the pile, number 72, Joe Nash. Boy, that's a stack of blue jerseys, Charlie.
And we'll have a measurement. It is that close, so the clock is stopped with 10:24 left to go in the first half.
Raiders playing a little bit conservatively. That's another one of those situations where you can, if you wish, take a shot down the field. But they have not done that well offensively, so they're going to grab that first down if they can get it, and they got it.
San Diego out in front of Denver. Jets comfortably in front of Indianapolis in the second quarter. San Francisco, they're still having their problems, but they're leading.
Well, Philadelphia playing much better, Charlie. My old Rams are doing a little bit of work, but that's not a very comfortable lead even on New Orleans.
First down and 10. The Seahawks lead here 12-0. Wilson's pass is complete to Jesse Hester, the #1 draft choice from Florida State. He's pulled down by Dave Brown. The Raiders seem to be mixing their offense up a little bit more.
Well, they've gotten things working here, Charlie. They've sputtered and killed themselves really on those 2 interceptions and several penalties. Now they have things moving. They just want to keep the ball moving down the field. They need to get into that end zone. Hester, by the way, is really coming on. Success breeds success. Had a big reverse for a touchdown last week. Feeling much better about himself.
2nd and 4. Marcus Allen drops it. Now, in 21 offensive plays today, the Raiders, Marcus Allen has been involved in 15 of them, including that one that he dropped. That was his 5th possible reception. And
there they give you some room, and Marcus then swings out of the backfield and kills you.
3rd down. Wobbly, incomplete. Bad pass. Tim Moffitt, the rookie from Mississippi, taken in the 3rd round of the draft, still with no receptions, almost had his first. That's a bad throw.
Well, it was also an excellent defensive play by Terry Jackson, number 24, who timed his shot perfectly, trailing the receiver across the field, got a piece of him as the ball arrived. Maybe if that ball had been thrown with a little more zip, it couldn't have been done, Charlie, but either way, they're going to end up with a 4th down, and Terry Barr are going to have a chance here.
From 49 yards away, his longest this year successful field goal.
I said Terry Barr. Boy, he's out of the league a long time.
That is blocked and picked up on the hop. Byron Walker.
Terry Taylor, I think the man who blocked that kick, is still down on the ground. Jim Weitzel out very quickly. He may have caught a foot as he tried to block that kick, Charlie. He has been a dangerous man.
Now remember that Sean Jones of the Raiders has blocked an extra point attempt. This one gets up though, and it's done. Seattle 19, Los Angeles nothing. Report on Taylor is that he's okay.
Look at where they've started those drives today. The Raiders have had horrible field position, and the Seahawks, by virtue of the turnovers, have been starting at their own 49 on the average.
Owen Johnson kicking off either Sam Seal or Fulton Walker. This will be Seal at the 4-yard line. 15-yard line, 11 yards on the return, and Eric Lane, the captain of the special teams, got it.
Eric may have hurt himself on that play. You can't hesitate as you come up in there. Sammy Seal trying to hesitate a little bit, and he was just cut down, and Lane is still down on the ground. And Charlie, just moments ago, we were talking about the Raiders getting things going. They've had 5 possessions so far in the game. 2 have been stopped by interceptions. Twice they've had to punt. And, of course, the other one ended up in that blocked field goal, which goes back for 7 points, and that's a 10-point turnaround.
Second quarter score, San Diego 10, Denver 0.
San Diego 10, Denver 0. That score just announced to the crowd here in the Kingdome, and their reaction, of course, the Raiders and Denver tied at 6-2. That is their record coming into the ball game.
You earn your money on special teams, Charlie. There it is right there. Eric Lane in from back. He's hit by one of his own players. That's Bruce Schultz coming in from the other side. And something you may not know, more players, I think, hurt by their own teammates than by the opposite team.
You see that a lot. You see that in the secondary, too. You have two tacklers converging from two different sides.
I think it's one of the reasons that the Raiders secondary has stayed so healthy, because they play so much man-to-man. You don't have those people attacking the ball carrier from different directions. At least not as much as you would in a zone secondary.
I want to ask you more about their man coverage. Wilson. He goes deep. He's open, and he is overthrown. That is Jesse Hester. Oh, he got behind the defender. Why do not other teams in the National Football League go to the pure man coverage like the Raiders?
Well, I think the basic reason, Charlie, is you've got to have those great corners. They have them in Hayes and Haynes. Not many teams can match wide receivers with that kind of speed. That particular play, for example, Dave Brown not able to match the speed of Hester. Hester breaking out, but it was the pressure. Wilson had to unload just before he came open, and he had to guess at where he was going to be, threw it a little bit long.
Mark Wilson, 7 of 14, 68 yards, 2 interceptions with Marcus Allen. And Marcus will have 3 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 7. Bruce Schultz makes the tackle.
This Seahawk defense does a lot of slanting, Charlie. They do a lot of slanting and stunning inside, and the reason for that, Tom Catlin just said, we don't feel that we have the defensive personnel to match up against a lot of offenses, and we have to use a few tricks on our plays as a result. They do an awful lot of tough things inside. There's Catlin on the left side of your screen. He's the man who's stands behind this defense. Coordinated 3 different teams' defenses: Los Angeles, Buffalo, and of course here in Seattle for Chuck Norris.
And also the Dallas Texans / Kansas City Chiefs. That's where he started in pro ball in 1960, a 2-time All-America out of Oklahoma. Todd Christensen pulls this one in. He'll pick up about 10 on the play. Now, Todd Christensen has been kind of a silent receiver thus far in the ball game.
Got one good one earlier for a first down, Charlie, at least. So
that was his second, yeah.
Yep. He got one first down earlier. Todd, of course, a Brigham Young graduate, as is Mark Wilson.
Big collegiate rivalries of you at Utah State, right?
Yeah. Hey, when I was there, we always beat them.
First down. Raiders at their own 27-yard line. 7.5 minutes to go in the first half. Marcus Allen. And he'll pick up 4, maybe 5 on the play. Fred Young with the tackle. The Raider offense is not, it's very basic all of a sudden. I'm expecting it to be spectacular, and it's not.
Charlie, they really kind of went back to the basics. They lost 2 games in a row, and they kind of took themselves back to the basics at about the same time they started to call the plays. I think one of the reasons they did it is they limited the number of plays they'd have to call from the sideline, but it's been very successful for them. You see Tom Flores there, they've won 5 in a row with that philosophy, so it hasn't been bad for them.
Wilson with time has to drop this one off underneath the coverage to Frank Hawkins. That's the first time that Hawkins has handled the ball in the ball game. 5 yards to the 36 will be 3rd down and 1, and Terry Taylor and Sam Merriman team up on the tackle for the Hawks.
Excellent job of protection again. They were able to silence that rush from the Seahawks. Look at the total yards for the day. Now that is interesting when you look at the scoreboard to realize the Raiders have been hammering for yards, but it's the Seahawks who, of course, have been capitalizing, and that's kind of the way they played throughout last year, Charlie. It really is.
No, you're right. This is more the way that the Hawks played in '84 than the way that they've been playing this year. Little play action fake. Marcus is open, and he hits him. And Marcus is down at the 42-yard line, and it's a first down for Los Angeles. Now, when we go back, talk about this, and I've got a note for you.
Let's look at the way they use Marcus Allen out of the backfield. First, they just give a little fake there, and then it's a match right there between he and Paul Moyer. And as fast as Moyer is, Allen's faster. And he gets out there, makes a fine catch on the play, and pulls down a first down.
Seahawks lead at 19-0. 1 touchdown drive, and that drive covered 27 yards in 1 play. Capitalizing, remember, on the punt return to Kenny Easley. 2 field goals, and that the blocked field goal picked up 57 yards. So the Hawks have not been devastating on offense either. This one is almost intercepted. Doki Williams, the intended receiver, and Terry Taylor was chasing him.
I think they were testing Taylor on that play. He went out, as you remember, with a little bit of a shaky head after blocking that field goal with his face. They test him deep right there with Dokie Williams, who's their fastest receiver, fastest man on this Raiders squad. But Terry Taylor, equal to the task, has excellent speed himself, was right there.
So it'll be 2nd down and 10, back at the 42-yard line of Los Angeles with 5:27 the time remaining in the first half. And the Raiders trail 19-0. Marcus Allen just across the 50 to the Seattle 49. Joe Nash makes the play. Let's join NFL 80 that one, but I'm sure you didn't figure this one.
Well, this is a surpriser. Of course, we're still early in this ball game, but no one predicted this, including me, Charlie.
Marcus Allen, first down, leads to the 41-yard line. A gain of 8 yards on the play. Fred Young makes the tackle. And I don't think anybody expected this in San Diego. There have been a lot of reports in the San Diego newspapers about this could well be the last year of Don Coryell if he does not finish at least with an 8-8 record. And that's all they're writing about.
Well, this is a tough division. The AFC West has chewed itself to bits over many years, and they're doing it again, Charlie.
Yes. Marcus Allen today, 62 yards rushing, 49 yards receiving. He is the Raider offense. Incomplete. Hester, the intended receiver. And he was bumped by Dave Brown at the same time the ball got there. So it'll be 2nd down and 10 at the Seattle 41-yard line.
Good battle going on the line of scrimmage between Joe Nash and Don Mospar. They're hiding right here behind the quarterback, Mark Wilson. But watch the two of them explode into action here. That's Mospar at 72 matched up with a 72 Nash. And Nash just bulldozes him back into the backfield and forces the early throw. Here's the other look at it from the sideline. You see the hands with a whole lot of jersey, but Nash just powering Mospar back into the quarterback.
2nd and 10, 41-yard line. Sack number 3. And a flag is down.
Yeah, they're going to negate that with a holding call, I'm afraid. But I don't think Seattle will accept it. They'll get the yardage on the sack anyway.
Holding against Tim Moffitt comes wide to the near side with Hester. Christensen is in the slot right. He has 2 receptions. Incomplete. Moffitt, the intended receiver. It'll be 4th down and 17. Let's join Ahmad Rashad.
Seahawks, we expected their defense to play well, but we didn't expect to see them put 19 points on the board here in the first half.
Ray Guy will be kicking in a moment. Is that Eric Lane?
That's Eric.
Got it deep back on the return. Ooh, nice one. Short kick. Fair catch. Taken at the 21-yard line.
Freddie Young almost blocked that kick. Guy had to force it out of there. Only 33 yards on the punt. He's lucky to get it away.
And since then, it's been all downhill for the Raiders. From the 21, just across the 25-yard line. So he's got 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6 as Matt Millen and Bill Pickell make the tackle.
Charlie, we've mentioned several times that they'll move Howie around quite a bit. Howie Long. Here's his normal position at the left end. He'll also play it in a 3-man line on the nose and over here on the opposite tackle. And then in a 4-man line, we'll play both end positions and the 2 inside positions. You see him here. He's sliding in to get a part of that play, but actually plays all 7 of the line positions.
And we've got jumping. Steve Largent was doing a little polka as a wide receiver. I think he went on the wrong count, and then he realized it, was trying to get back in time, and as he was continuing his dance, the play went on. Kurt Warner thus far 9 carries, 23 yards. Now the ball hasn't snapped yet. Whoops, wait a minute. Hurry, get back.
Lester.
Lester.
Yeah, that was on you. Yeah.
Always helping the official.
Lester's a character. This Raider defense has not had a bad day today. They have allowed some points.
Illegal motion offense. Brady, 2nd down.
You've got to remember that Seattle has been blessed with great field position and with 7 points off the turnover today.
Penalty yards have evened out at 45 apiece. 2nd and 11. The ball at the 20-yard line. Lester Hayes up guarding Darrell Turner now. You can see right at the bottom of your screen. He's talking to him, of course. He steps away. And Randall Morris is the ball carrier. That's about 4 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 7 as Bill Pickell makes the tackle.
Charlie, I talked to Matt Millen just briefly before the game, and we're talking about the way signals are being called in the league. And of course, there are only a few quarterbacks left in football who call their own plays, and only a few defensive first half, Charlie. Both of them, I think, much different feelings coming in.
And for the Seahawks, like last year, capitalizing on the turnovers. And that has been the story of the first half. 3rd down and 7. Randall Morris. And Morris is stopped at the 27-yard line, so he has 3 yards. It'll be 4th down and 4 as Mike Davis makes the tackle. And we'll have the 2-minute warning. We'll be back to the Kingdome. In the ceremonies at the Gold Helmet Banquet here in Seattle, and he was honored at the Gold Helmet Banquet this past year, and he didn't know anything about it. It was a big surprise. Very touching. Here's Fulton Walker on the punt return. He needs to get a little bit of a field position for the Raiders. Not that good. 11 yards and return a 48-yard kick by Dave Fencer, and Eric Lane makes the tackle for Seattle. Personnel move during the season. That may be one. There's another one.
He's got 2 of them this year.
Yep. Wilson with pressure, steps away, throws, and the pass is complete, and this is Jesse Hester. Out of bounds, stopping the clock at the Seattle 45, 20 yards. John Harris for the defense.
What a nice play by Wilson, who had the ability at this time to get away from the pressure and look for the open man. Now, Jesse Hester, looking back, knows his quarterback's in trouble. And here he is working back saying, hey, I'm open, I'm open. The only mistake he made, he should continue back toward the quarterback in that situation so that the defenders can't cut it off and take the ball away from him.
But a good move for the rookie. #1 draft choice this year, Florida State, so he's played half a season in the NFL. Wilson fires this one, and it's incomplete.
They've used that play very successfully so far in this game. Not successful there as Keith Simpson able to arrive at the same time as the ball. Marcus was not able to handle it. That last play, Charlie, exhibited something else that Mark Wilson has had trouble with. He does not have the kind of awareness in that pocket that they would like him to have. In other words, the feeling of room in that pocket, where to go in case you get some pressure. He was able to feel the pressure from the back, step forward, and made that play. That's a plus. That's something they really wanted to be able to do better.
He's at 50%, 11 of 22, 108 yards, but 2 interceptions. This is overthrown, and the flag is dropped at the 43-yard line. Now, let's not get too far away from a statement that we made a moment ago. Al Davis may have made another personnel move that could be a key this year.
Second is Jerry Robinson, who has come in from Philadelphia. There's the wristband we talked to you about earlier. That's Mark Wilson's list of plays that are signaled in from the sideline.
What does that remind? Who does that remind you of?
Well, it reminds me of Tom Matty.
Tom Matty, right.
Tom Matty, of course, a great story where he had to come in when all the quarterbacks in Baltimore had been knocked out. You know the first team he beat in that run?
No.
The Los Angeles Rams. I happen to be on the other side of the line, Charlie.
Well, why did you bring this up? Why did you just mess up the plays on the wrist? You need some of that white out as you got it down. First down at the 40-yard line of the penalty. Overthrown, but all alone. Doki Williams was all alone, and he was overthrown. He was wide open.
Mark is saying that one's on me, Doki. Mark able to get a little time. He's under pressure again, fighting for some room. Terry Taylor loses Doki Williams right here. Doki just breaks away from him, and Mark saw the move, saw everything, got everything right, except put a little too much heat on that ball, threw it over his head.
1 minute, 27 seconds, time remaining, first half. Seattle leads at 19-0. The Raiders operating still with 1 timeout. Trying to get something on the scoreboard. Here comes the blitz. It's picked up. The pass is intercepted.
That may go all the way, Charlie.
Terry Taylor.
75 yards. Mark Wilson asked Dokey Williams, were you going inside or outside? A miscommunication here. Mark thought he was going outside. Dokey is breaking inside. Well, Terry Taylor knew where the football was. Accounts for his 14th point on the day. He's the man who blocked the field goal earlier that went back for the TD. And here he is carrying one in on his own.
And Norm Johnson will try to add the point after. It is 25-0. And climbing. 26-0 Seahawks. Different. Fulton Walker on the return. Fumbles it. Recovers it. Comes back, loses it again. It took a bounce back up to him. Never had possession. Let's wait on the officials. They make it official.
The official says that the ball bounced away when he hit the ground. It looked to me like the ball was loose, Charlie. He didn't have control of it. It was completely out of his hands. Did get it back into his hands. The question here, did they have control? And I think they're going to give it to the Seattle Seahawks.
Seattle is celebrating.
I mentioned earlier, the Seahawks had 8 turnovers from their kicking teams last year. They had not had a single one in the first half of the season. This is their first. There's the ball bouncing away. He gets his hands on it, but you saw him in the air. Did not have control of it. The Seahawks have the football right smack on the 20-yard line. 4 turnovers on the day. The Raiders have given it to the Seahawks, and the Seahawks have yet to give it back.
And Eric Lane got that turnover. The ball at the 20-yard line of Los Angeles. The Seahawks have 1 minute and 9 seconds and 3 timeouts. And they lead 26-0. Craig rolls out. He'll head down the sideline and out of bounds, stopping the clock. Craig has had a lot of heat this year, although he leads the
really cold weeks back-to-back, Charlie.
Yes, against Denver and the Jets, you're right. And here's Kurt Warner. And he has dropped it to 15, so it'll be 3rd down and 5. And Bill Pickell in on the stop, and also hollering at the sideline immediately as a Raider is injured. The Seahawks take a timeout, and they'll stop the clock now with 51 seconds left to go in the first half. Seattle leading 26-0, and they have the ball at the Raiders' 15-yard line.
Looking for more points. It's interesting, Charlie, the Raiders came in here knowing that Seattle was on the ropes early in this season, and they would have loved to be able to put them away if they could have gotten them here today. And would have put them 3 games down. Tom Flores knew that they had the chance to do that, especially with the injuries to Seattle, knowing that Warner had the bad ankle, that David Hughes was out, that Dornick was not due back. And yet, the Seahawks, who always play well against the Raiders, and Knox is 5-1 against the Raiders, were able to put it together today. We talked about inconsistency, Charlie, and that'll tell you a story right there. Dave Craig, in the 4 wins this year, has had 1 interception in the 4.
Right. They play at a 50-yard field. We wanted the 50-yard line, then we move in. Here's the shotgun. Dan Ross is back to block. The blitz is coming on, and it's caught. A great catch at the 7-yard line. Byron Walker, who has scored a touchdown in the ball game. Oh, that's a great reception.
An all-out blitz. Mike Davis, number 36, blitzing from the secondary. James Davis, number 45, the man who's trying to cover Walker on the play. Craig gets the ball away at the last second.
Hardy.
Who?
Andre Hardy. And Kurt Warner. Andre will block, and Warner will carry. Andre blocks, Warner carries, and the defense is there. Does not get in. It'll be second down.
Who, Charlie, because that's not a name that many people around the NFL know. They're used to hearing of, and you know, the Seattle Seahawks running backs, even when they're home. I wouldn't have believed this halftime.
We mentioned that Seattle was favored by 1. Maybe the Kingdome is worth more than just 6 points. Maybe it's worth a couple
20.
of 3.
Oh, and look at this.
A scramble for the ball.
The Raiders have it, Charlie.
Mike Haynes making the play for Los Angeles.
The first turnover That's 4 turnovers for the Seattle Seahawks. They've gotten it 4 times, and that's the first that the Raiders have been able to pound out of the Seahawks. Leveling Craig. We saw that happen several times last week against the Jets. Blind side, corner blitz. Mike Haynes. And that's a fine play by the corner. You don't see those blitzes from the corner very often from this Raider team. Mike Davis, the man who finally picked that up, number 36.
And so suddenly, with 30 seconds, Mike Haynes jarring the ball loose. Mike Davis recovering. And the Raiders have an opportunity at the 17-yard line. Wilson gets it away. It's incomplete to Frank Hawkins.
Tremendous pressure on Wilson. This game is taking on some of those same kind of characteristics.
The last penalty on Bruce Davis, Frank Hawkins is the ball carrier, and so Los Angeles now will just be content to run out the clock in the first half. Joe Nash.
Now the Seattle Seahawks.
They say, wait a minute, we want to stop it.
Frank Hawkins over there, linebacker coach, is saying, hey, we want a chance. They don't match up that strongly against these Raiders head-to-head personnel-wise, but they've done a great job.
Now the Raiders, knowing that the Seahawks have used their last timeout, they run the ball. The ball is down at the 20, and then they'll head for the locker room. They say, you want to do that? We'll show you what we can do. We're going to the locker room because we want it to stay 26-0. A surprising first half of football.
Surprising to say the least. The Seahawks, taking every advantage of their opportunities, have just hammered the Los Angeles Raiders in this first half. And they do know how to come back, Charlie.
With Tom Flores, you know, he had to say, hey, you know, look at the stats. We're not playing that better. Just stay in there. And Chuck Knox has to say, wow, we're 26. You know, hold on. Here we go. Fulton Walker returning it from 1 yard deep in the end zone. And he returns it across the 25 and goes out of bounds on the far side around the 26-yard line.
The one thing you do, if you're the Raiders, you talk about what you wanted to do coming into this game. You go back and do it. Now let's look at the last 2 weeks for Mark Wilson. Look at his numbers. 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 30 for 67. They've won those 2 games. Look at what he's done today. Completion's not that badly, but that 3-interception number on this day has really been the killer.
That's good. You're right. 27-yard line, first down. There's Marcus Allen. Shut off inside, jumped outside. And they'll mark it around the 33-yard line, so you'll have 6 yards. It'll be second down and 4.
Charlie, the Raiders have been over 30 points so far 3 times this year. They scored 31 against the Jets in their opener when they crunched the Jets, 35 against New England, and 34 last week against San Diego. So they can put points on the board. Right now, they're just trying to get things going, establish the tempo for this second half right here in this first series.
Raiders trailing 26-0 as we open the second half. Todd Christensen with his 3rd reception.
The official saying he had the football and was down. The ball bounced out after the fact. They'll get an argument from Easley, but I believe it was a good call.
The rule is that the turf cannot cause a fumble. So if you have possession when you hit the ground, then the ball is dead.
Good protection on that last play. I think it's a good call, Charlie.
I do too.
He's on the ground, had control of the football.
And it's a first down at the 38-yard line. And obviously the Raiders are going to be very deliberate. They're not going to be in any hurry. The veteran team, they know that they have the whole second half to work with. Just cut out the mistakes and we'll see what happens. Good protection, deep double coverage, and almost picked off. Terry Taylor was going for the interception. It'll be second down and 10 back at the 38.
One of the dangers in this second half, and I think you said it earlier, the Seattle Seahawks can't be thinking hang on. It's a dangerous philosophy against the Raider team. You've got to be aggressive, and they're showing that aggressiveness on defense, although they're not getting pressure on Mark Wilson here. Wilson has had time to throw the football, and he's doing what the Raiders love to do, but have not done successfully here today, and that's to go deep.
And the Seahawks have an opportunity here today to do something they haven't done all year, and that is to defeat a team with a winning record. Marcus Allen, 50-yard line, 12 yards, first down. Kenny Easley stopped him right at the 50.
A shot from the end zone. We'll get a view from where the defensive backs stand. That's Kenny Easley. The one-on-one matchup, that's UCLA against USC.
And that's always a good matchup.
That's always a good matchup, you're right.
First down at the 50. Now the crowd starts to get involved. Far side, Doki Williams with a sliding reception at the 39-yard line. Gain of 11, first down. Dave Brown had the coverage, but all of a sudden the Raiders now beginning to pick and choose. And I'm beginning to wonder if the Seahawks didn't come out with that attitude and say, let's just hang on, we've got it.
Well, if they did, they're going to have a problem here, because the Raiders are the kind of team that can get back into a game. They have that kind of maturity. They're not worried about what's on the board. They're worried about what they're doing on the field. That's the way you have to approach it.
And 4 times 7 is 28, and you win by 2. They're thinking in those terms. But there's no hurry. Marcus Allen slipping a tackle, goes to the 37-yard line. He has a couple. Second down and 8. Joe Nash is the man who brings him down. And we've got the same situation going on in San Diego. San Diego leading by 21 points. San Francisco out in front of Philadelphia in the third quarter. And the Rams still lead New Orleans by 7, but it's now 14-7. And here it is Seattle 26 and the Raiders nothing. Marcus Allen cut down at the 35-yard line.
Marcus really took a shot from Terry Taylor as he turned back, took a shot on the leg. He's slow getting up, and he'll be limping. Trying to just get outside and get the short one here. Taylor going low. Marcus is lucky he didn't get that foot down on the ground. I think if he'd have gotten that left foot down on the ground, he might have been looking at a knee injury there.
In that San Diego game, Fouts has 2 touchdown passes to Chandler. Gary Anderson has scored on the ground from 16 yards out. Bob Thomas has a 36-yard field goal. Rich Carlos has a 36-yard field goal for Denver. That's the scoring in that ballgame.
There comes Marcus off the field. Both the combatants. Terry Taylor went off the field. Now Marcus is coming off the field. And he is limping, but I'll tell you again, if he had gotten that foot down on the turf, it's a very unforgiving turf. I think he might have had his knee blown out on that last play.
Third down and 8. Todd Christensen, first down. Paul Moyer with the tackle, 14 yards and a first down.
One of the things that Todd Christensen will do is to continue to work all day long. Charlie, there is a flag down on the field, and it may negate a beautiful reception and a first down.
That's the reason Todd threw that ball. I couldn't understand his reaction until I saw the flag.
Frustration.
Yes.
Frustration. While the officials are sorting it out, well, we'll give them a chance to talk, and then we'll look at the play.
79, illegal use of the hands. Offense.
Bruce Davis.
Third down.
Second time he's been called on a penalty.
Trying to hold out Jeff Bryant on that play. Here's the play. Todd Christensen working so hard. The leading receiver in the NFL. Look how hard he has to work to get off the line. That's Moyer, 21, singled up on him. And Moyer working hard to get over and get in front of that ball. But Todd just wouldn't give up on the pattern. Able to get his hands on it, but it all goes for naught, and it's 3rd and 20 yards to go.
I'd go right back to Todd. Incomplete. Kenny King, the intended receiver, he looked to the inside, though. The toss came to the outside. It was a misread of the coverage.
Well, I think even if he'd caught that football, he would only have been about 10 yards down, and they needed 20 on the play. Ray Guy will come out, and what a frustrating day for this Raider team. Just as they seem to have something going here in this first series, the Seahawk defense able to come back and shut them down. 4th punt of the day for Ray Guy.
Paul Scansey is set for the return, and then average.
Well, the average because they've been punting into the short side of the field.
That's right. And he's going for the corner on this side or the near side, and it's not going to kill.
One of the few times he misses on that.
And one of the few times that he goes to the right-hand corner. He likes to go to that left-hand corner because the right foot will follow through. We'll be back. The Seattle Seahawks leading the Los Angeles Raiders 26-0. Seattle from their own 20-yard line. It's Kurt Warner. And there is no gain. Now, they may give him a yard to the 21. Howie Long was there to greet him. Now, starting today on the left, that was the standings in the West. 6-2, 6-2. Denver and the Raiders are tied for the lead. Seattle 4-4 struggling. Kansas City lost. San Diego 3-5 struggling, and they're leading. Well, this is really a mix and mingle, isn't it?
There's going to be an awful logjam up toward the top of this
oh, yes.
conference
Yeah.
as the two leaders tumble,
Yeah.
or apparently tumble here today.
If they do tumble, they'd both be tied at 6-3. Seattle back in it at 4-5. San Diego at 4-5 back in, and only Kansas City at 3-6 is, you know, in reality out of it right now. So Andre Hardy getting the call. A couple of yards to the 23, third down. So a very conservative start for Chuck Knox on offense, but you expect that because of their field position. You know, the basic thing as we look at Dave Craig's statistics the last 2 weeks and today is that Chuck Knox in his own end of the end zone, very conservative. And he gets the ball past the 50-yard line, he will start to open up. When he gets inside of the 30, he'll go to the end zone because he feels that he already has the 3 points in his pocket with his field goal kicker. And that's the book on him. And he doesn't change that much, as you know. Third down and 7. Craig chased out of the pocket. Here comes Howie Long. Throws. Diving for it is Steve Largent. And he may not pick up the first down. Let's see where they mark it.
He's short, I believe. Had to come back to the football. I mentioned that earlier. When your quarterback's in trouble, you've got to drive back toward the quarterback. Otherwise, you're liable to get an interception. But Largent, I think, had to come back too far. All a matter of marking the football. And I believe we're going to see a punt here, Charlie.
And that's the reason. Third down and 12 from the 18-yard line. Here's pressure. And more pressure. And Bill Packel gets him. Let's go to New York. NFL 80.
Charlie.
It all counts. Defense are kicking to Fulton Walker. The Raiders have good field position. Good kick. Woo! Driving Walker back to the 31-yard line. And he has 11 yards on the return. 52 yards on the kick. Shelton Robinson with the tackle. And we'll be back.
Back here in the second half.
Well, I could use it on my throat if it gets sore. No, I didn't know they did that. That's a good point. Thank you. Wilson wobbly high but complete to Jesse Hester. It was a first down at the Los Angeles 42, and they pick up a quick 22 yards on the play. The best starting field position the Raiders have had today. Long afternoon for Lester.
Long afternoon for Lester. And just to finish the story on that elastic band, we haven't seen much of McElroy as this game has gone a little bit sour. In fact, a lot sour for the Raiders. But right now, a chance for Mark Wilson and this offensive unit to get something going. They have not been able to do it so far in this ball game. Still a lot of time left, but you got to get a touchdown.
DeMarcus Allen, incomplete.
One of the problems that the Raiders have had today is they're getting very physical treatment on the line of scrimmage. Easily 45, just knocking Todd Christensen, trying to keep him on the ball. Christensen fighting to get off of the line, but you got to believe that's total frustration. That breaks the pattern. That really makes it difficult for quarterback and receivers.
One of the key matchups is Todd Christensen, as Kenny Easley has been with him. And Christensen has 3 receptions for 23 yards. Here's Marcus, has room outside, and has the first down as he just plows to the 22. Maybe they may mark it at the 23-yard line, but it's the first down. Greg Gaines is the man who got him. Just one little note on this rubber piece of hamstring. Is this just like a rubber hose? Is that what it is?
It's like an inner tube almost, Charlie. Yeah. Just a giant rubber band. George Anderson, the trainer for the Raiders, smiled. He said, this is an old trick. He said, we used it 2 years ago on Todd Christensen's leg in the drive for the Super Bowl. We used it on Tom Flores when he was the quarterback. There's McElroy, the man who has the rubber band in place on his left hamstring right now.
The officials mark it at the 21-yard line. Seattle territory. And here come the Raiders. This one is complete to Jesse Hester. And he is brought down by Dave Brown.
Boy, those yards are tough against the Seahawks defense today. They'd started the year a little down. In fact, they were giving up an average of 28 points a game after 6 games. The last 2 games, they've only given up a total of 30 points in those 2 games. So they've really bounced back. And of course, today have been perfect on the scoreboard.
A gain of 10 to the 11-yard line. First down. Seattle leads at 26-0. We're in the middle, past the midpoint of the third quarter. 6:18 and counting. That is the time remaining. And now the Raiders.
Well, that is going to be 10-1.
And Kurt Warner is one of the number. He has 1 touchdown receiving. From the 11. Sack. 4th one.
Twice in a row, Charlie. After waiting so long at the line of scrimmage.
And we're into it again.
Mark better be careful. He signaled timeout. He doesn't want timeout. He just wants the official to come in and stop things. And this is, Charlie, I really think the NFL, and I said it earlier in the game, is going to have to address the noise problem. Even though it's a difficult issue for the officials, you can't allow the crowd to take over the game.
And it, of course, is being amplified by the Dome Stadium. And naturally, the teams that have the domes as their home field, they don't want to change the rule, but it's to their advantage. I agree with you.
Part of the home field advantage. And we might talk about it again. The college rule is very simple. You see what Knox wants. He said, hey, let's not ruin this thing. We got a big lead. Mark's going to get a chance to go here.
2nd and 21 at the 22-yard line. Scramble, he fumbles the ball. He is hit. The ball is loose. It may have come right back to Mark Wilson.
Mark got it back. And Marcus Allen is down on the far side of the field. I don't know how he was hurt on the play, but he's not working or not moving very fast, and neither is Wilson. And, of course, we mentioned that Wilson is coming off a sprained ankle, had a partially separated shoulder. He's badly beaten up. Marcus is finally up. I think he may have been blocked on that last play.
I know he went right to one of the officials and was complaining about something, and he is still limping. Wilson
stumbles on the turf, catches the toe. That's easy to do, and in the process of gaining his balance, lost the football. He picks it up again. That's Keith Simpson, 42, that hammered him early. The Raiders maintain control of the football, but it's going to be 3rd and long. Marcus, we saw him limp off once earlier. He's going back, I think, into the ball game.
The play picked up 10 yards to the 12-yard line, so it's 3rd down and 11. And Marcus was really complaining. We did not see what happened. All of a sudden, he was down on his knee. And when he came up limping, he came right to the official on the far side and was complaining about it. But we also talked about that.
He has real potential for the NFL, but this is a tough situation to come in. You're down 26-0. You've got to fight this crowd, and Rusty's saying the same thing that Mark did. How the heck do we hear down here? There's no way. Well, you got to help him buckle his helmet. He doesn't get out there very often.
Now, Hilger may be in there to save a timeout. Wilson injured rather than if he stays in, to stop the clock because of the injury, it may just be a single play.
I think you're right. He has to come off for a single play. Although I would have to seriously consider, if I were Tom Flores,
keeping him in.
The reason for sending Mark back into the game, at least maybe not now, but before too long, because Mark is operating already with an injured ankle and an injured shoulder. You don't want to have him hurt for the rest of the season.
Yes, well, that's true. And Mark has been playing with those injuries. He's really been playing hurt. And here comes the crowd. And this pass is way underthrown.
And Wilson will be going back onto the field. Rusty never did get his chin strapped. No, hooked up. Hell, that's a tough situation for a young rookie. It's 4th down. Mark will not be coming back onto the field. The field goal team will be out.
He's there to hold for the field goal.
One thing we can look at is this field goal team is on the field, and Wilson goes out because he's the holder. I talked to the 2 kickers about their kicking style, and Norm Johnson said he starts his movement toward the ball as the ball is snapped. Barr does not start his movement toward the ball until it hits the hands of his holder, which means he is slightly slower. That block earlier may have come from that slight delay. Watch him. He's looking down at the spot.
30 yards away. And it is good, and the Raiders are finally on the board. The score is 26-3 with 5:14 left in the third. Save the injury timeout. And now Chris Barr with the 3 points, and it's a 26-3 ball game kicking off. And Randall Morris from the 4-yard line. And Randall returns to the 20-yard line where Seattle will go to work. Stacy Turan makes the tackle. To stay close. Cincinnati will. Seattle now from their own 20. Seahawks leading here 26-3. Just over 5 minutes to go in the third. Craig, a little swing out to the right flat to Kurt Warner. And he'll pick up about 5 yards on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 5. Mike Haynes makes the tackle. San Diego way out in front of Denver, 27-3. A lot of surprises. Jets out in front of Indianapolis. That's no surprise. San Francisco.
So this season, this has been a strange year, Charlie.
Every week we say upset Sunday, upset Sunday. And Warner close to the 30-yard line.
Charlie, last week after that big game, Monday night game against the Chargers, they asked Howie Long if he'd like to be up here. He said, what do you think about the Seattle Seahawks game? He was pretty verbal. He said, hey, we play Seattle next, and I can't wait to get up there. I love the Kingdom. I want the Seahawks bad. They line up, I play them tomorrow. Well, I think occasionally you say things in the heat of the moment, and Howie's a very verbal guy, and he'll tell you what he thinks. He just as soon retract those words about right now, I believe.
I want to ask you about those kind of words, newspaper quotes. Warner's sliding for the first down, needed a yard, and he got it to the 31. So the Seahawks will retain possession.
To Al Davis and to the rest of these Raiders.
That's right. Tomorrow, if you read the game story in the agate type in the back of the newspaper, you won't believe the final score. Here's Andre Hardy, the ball carrier. Flag is down on the far side. Pickup of a yard.
Knox has gone back to a very conservative philosophy, hammering, running game, trying to take the yardage, take the clock.
First down and 5. Here's Kurt Warner, 41-yard line. This will be close to the first down. Bill Pickel with the tackle.
Charlie, one of the things you have to respect about a team that's behind on the board is that they don't quit. Now, we talked about Howie Long. We've shown him early on a lot of plays. Here they are way down. He's getting a lot of heat right now. Look at him handling Kreider on the inside, driving all the way down in to get a piece of that tackle. This Raider defense hasn't quit. In fact, the Raider offense hasn't quit. It just has not been their day. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Seattle. They have.
Here's Kurt Warner.
Charlie, just reflecting back, and you remind me of the game. We played the Raiders once. What was it, Ewell Field that they used to play at?
Yes, Frank Ewell Field.
Frank Ewell Field. We got up there, and I think it was either Ewell Field or maybe at Stanford, an early game. And I looked up on the scoreboard, and we're in the first quarter, and we're down about 24-0. And I said, how did they get all those points? And it was one of those days that I felt, I think, much as the Raiders feel here today. Wait a minute, I don't remember this happening in the game.
First down at the 43-yard line. The clock continues. 1:42 and counting. We're in the third quarter. Timing pattern. He's open, and it's way overthrown. Largent, little head fake, and he got behind Mike Haynes. And it's a timing pattern like you threw in the corner of the end zone, but this is out in the middle of the field.
Largent again showing you those magic feet. Mike Haynes. 2nd
and 10. Over the middle to the tight end, Charlie Young, and the pass is incomplete. So it'll be 3rd down and 10 at the 43-yard line. Stopping the clock with 1:33 to go. Puts on the quarterback.
And a lot of linebackers coming too, Charlie.
Thrown to Largent, thrown low, the only place he could avoid.
I think it bounced into his hands, Charlie. I think they may steal that one. I think it bounced up. Are they going to give it to him?
I think so.
I think it came off the ground.
Well, watch the face of Steve Long. You might be able to see if he has a smile.
The wide shot here. Craig out of the shotgun. Just see the little play by Largent, who'll go down and then hook back into the open area. Well, not an easy angle. We have another shot here. This one might be better for you. Well, we still can't see. That one looks more like a catch than what it looked like from here, Charlie.
14 yards, largest third reception. He has 3 for 47. First down at the Raider 43. And the clock moves. 39 and counting, third quarter. There's a timing pattern again. This one to Darrell Turner. And he couldn't quite get there. And he was working on Mike Haynes. And what they're doing, Craig is just coming back.
He was 100%, but he looks like he's limping a little now, Charlie.
Craig throwing deep to the end zone. And a flag was dropped at the 31-yard line. Lester Hayes picking up Largent. Marker dropped at the 31 on the far side. There's the conference.
Only allowed to bump in that initial 5-yard zone. I believe somebody bumped down there down the field. Now, could be Lester Hayes, could be Largent. Largent's not above using his hips a little bit. Well, they say
offsides and
eye on Craig and on that football.
And Lester does give great quotes. Claiming to be clairvoyant. Going deep to Turner. He gets it.
Bob Seaman, who calls the defenses for these Los Angeles Raiders, you say, well, you might as well get that one too. The ball is underthrown. The ball drops into the hands of Mike Haynes right here, and out of the hands of Haynes, off his shoulder pad, and it's a touchdown. Hey, some of those bounce to you and some bounce away. Today, they bounce into the Seahawks, and the Seahawks and their fans are elated.
An 80-yard drive in 12 plays. That's been the only drive of any consequence as far as yardage is concerned for the Seahawks. Bad snap, and it is recovered, but there are 3-4 flags down, so it's not doing anything until the flags are sorted out.
Charlie, when we talked to Chuck Knox, he talked about going deep in this game today, and he said, we know the odds aren't good. We'll go deep 10 times. We may only get 4 of those shots, but some of them are going to count. Well, he's turned out to be prophetic today. They have gotten the deep shots today. I'll tell you, it will make future opponents of the Seahawks sit down and study this film today. That's a frustrating thing. Mike knows it. He had that football in his hand.
Perfect position, played it just right.
12 men on the field on the defense.
Well, that's one way.
Offside.
You can't beat him with 11, go to 12.
And they were offsides to boot. So we'll try the extra point again. .22 seconds left to go in the third quarter. It is now Seattle 33, and the Raiders joining Merlin Miami for the Jet Miami game. And then the Raiders will be traveling a little further south from home against San Diego. Sam Seal downs the ball in the end zone, and the Raiders will start from their own 20-yard line. 3 interceptions. He goes deep into coverage, and another interception. Dave Brown.
That's the 4th interception of the day off Wilson. Mark has got to wonder. Brown.
So Seattle goes to work at their own 40-yard line with 7 seconds to go in the third quarter. Andre Hardy gets the call. He'll pick up 2 to the 42. Bill Piquel with the tackle. And it'll be second down and 8 as the gun sounds. So we have come to the end of the third quarter. It's 33-3. Back into these
numbers. You say if you control the football, rushing, if you control the clock, you should win the game. Well, the Raiders don't believe that, Charlie.
Second down and 8. Seattle at their own 42-yard line. And here's Kurt Warner. Has 4 yards to the 46. It'll be third down and 4 as Howie Long and Bill Piquel make the tackle on the play. The no-shows today only 864, so in-house 64,060. Second highest attendance ever here in Seattle.
I think if you're a Raider fan and you're sitting at home, you're certain that a few of the Raiders didn't show up for this one, Charlie.
Next week, the Raiders at San Diego. Seattle will be at New Orleans. And Kurt Warner a couple of yards to the 48 before Reggie McKenzie meets him, and that'll be 4th down. And the punting team will come in.
Reggie McKenzie has certainly been a pleasant surprise for the Raiders.
10th round draft choice.
10th round pick. They really didn't project him into this lineup. Bob Nelson was hurt earlier.
Finzer kicking to Fulton Walker. Walker has had
snap. Whoa. They got him.
And a flag is down, and that means that the Seahawks downing the ball as they hawk it down to the 27-yard line.
Lester wants to talk to the official. He left his helmet on the 27 and is going all the way down to talk to the official. He's saying he touched the football. The ball did not travel very far. Let's see if we can see it. A bad snap. Finzer's in trouble right from the beginning. Lester's not the one that hit him. James Davis, 45, is the one that bounced off of Finzer. Lester is still talking about the tap on the ball, but the official
dream for the Seahawks.
Well, this is what they dreamed about all week long.
Here the penalty, the yard penalized, 94-50. And here is Kurt Warner from the 33, just inside the 31-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and around 8. John Jones with the tackle.
Well, they're still
hurt that much, but he stayed right in there, and he's just been grinding out. And here's Kurt, jumps to the outside, and he'll lose yardage, goes out of bounds at the 33-yard line, so he'll lose a couple. It'll be 3rd down and 10. Stacy Turan was there. This is updated, but not teams that are leading.
Now this will include the finals of today. These are the teams in the AFC who are above 500. The Raiders, of course, at the top of that stack, along with Denver. Both of those teams in danger of losing today and behind.
They'll go 6-3.
The Jets are winning. The Jets are winning today. New England has won today. Miami losing today. That's a final. Seattle, of course, will improve that position off their performance today.
Craig with good protection. Comeback pass on the far side. Caught, and no, they're going to say out of bounds. Byron Walker in that 2nd quarter. Fulton Walker set for any kind of return. Fincher will be going for the corner. And he gets it. Why not?
Why not?
When you're hot, you're hot.
It's been that kind of day, Charlie. It's been that kind of day. San Francisco leading in that game, Charlie. So that kind of brings you up to date on the teams that are in contention and doing well at the midpoint in the season. And some real surprises. Young rookie Rusty Hilger. You saw him earlier for a single play, and this time he's got his chin strap buckled all the way down, Charlie. I hope he does. This is not a pleasant time for quarterbacks. All the defensive linemen know you got to throw the football, and they're coming wide open.
He throws quickly to the far side to Tim Moffitt. Has it out of bounds. 1st down for Tim Moffitt, his first reception in the National Football League. Look at the smile. You can tell. The eyes are sparkling. All right.
Rusty Hilger throwing a very nice pass, and you see there why they like this young man. Got a lot of composure, a very quick rifle arm, and accurate thrower. So they kept him, and a lot of people said, Rusty who? You know, let's come on. This is not the solution to your problem, but he is impressive.
15-yard line, 1st down. Of course, Jim Plunkett out with the injury. But Hilger, they kept him as the 3rd quarter. I guess it's Cliff Branch should have caught it. Good pass. Branch, the fastest 37-year-old in the National Football League.
That's just rust.
Yes.
Charlie.
Yeah.
Let's watch the release of Rusty Hilger. We mentioned quick release, how important it is to a quarterback. Rusty coming right back into the camera from the snap by Don Mospar. Quickly looking around. That is quick. He guns that ball, lifts it from his waist. I think the better quarterbacks, a quicker release, tend to hold the ball up higher. But Rusty doing a good job of getting that one off, and was a perfect pass.
It's now a final. San Francisco winning that ball game 24-13. The last score, Washington with a 36-yard field goal. And here's Kenny King. And he'll have 5 yards to the 20. Now, you made a statement, and I immediately agreed with you. And that was the fact a tough slot for a quarterback, but for Rusty Hilger, a rookie, hey, this is a nice time. Let's get in. Let's play. Let's get some action. We'd like to welcome those of you who have been watching the New York Jet and the Indianapolis Colt game here in the fourth quarter. Seattle 33 and the Raiders 3. We have 11 minutes and 40 seconds still left in this game. I'm Charlie Jones along with Merlin Olsen, and it's been another game on Upset Sunday. Hilger going deep, and it is caught, but out of bounds. Tim Moffitt had it, but was not in the field of play.
Moffitt showing you fine speed. The Seattle Seahawks employing 7 DBs. 2 of them are close by, Easley and Taylor. But Moffitt got his hands on that football. The official right there to say, hey, the 2 feet were not in bounds. Won't give it to Easley. May have cramps. I think he's got cramps up in his hamstring area. They'll take him to the sideline. Jim Weitzel, the trainer, right there with him. That's what it is. You see him grabbing that leg. That's just fatigue and too much running on the day for Easley.
You saw that Jet final, 35-17. O'Brien with 3 touchdown passes. Here's Ray Guy to kick. Paul Scansey at the 41-yard line. 9-yard return to the 50. 39 yards, 11 minutes and 17 seconds still remaining. Flags are flying in the ball game between the Los Angeles Raiders and the Seattle Seahawks. There's the final score. San Diego winning it 30-10 over Denver. Here it is Seattle 33 and the Los Angeles Raiders 3.
A surprising day for San Diego as they knocked off league-leading Denver. And here in Seattle, the same kind of day as the Seahawks have just managed to hammer a lot of points onto the board. There are the results of today added to the standings as we came into today, and some surprises, Charlie, to say the least.
Oh, yes. First down and 15, the ball back at the 45-yard line. Here's Randall Morris. And they're going to mark him out of bounds on the far side at the 47-yard line.
Total yardage for the day. Now, this is the one you may have a hard time understanding. The Raiders have 272 yards on the day. The Seahawks have 174 on the day. And time of possession dramatically in favor of the Raiders. There it is, 28-35 to 20-08. And yet, you look at the scoreboard where the Raiders are looking at a 3, and the Seahawks have 10 times that many.
33-3. I'll give you a rundown of the scoring in just a moment. It has been a different afternoon of football. It has been a Seahawk afternoon. This is what they talk about here in the Great Northwest. Randall Morris. And Morris goes to the 41-yard line. He has 6. It'll be 3rd down and 1. Jerry Robinson makes the pass, and just before that, a 30-yard field goal by Chris Barr. So the defense, special teams, turnovers, and has been the story for the Seahawks. It is 33-3. First down. Randall Morris has it at the 35-yard line.
Chuck Knox getting a chance to grind it out on the line of scrimmage. Randall Morris.
They are not exchanging Christmas cards this year. First down. And here is Randall Morris again, and he'll pick up a couple of yards to the 33-yard line. The flag was dropped on the far side, and that, of course, stops the clock.
Holding call will go against the Seahawks. Charlie, one of the things that Chuck Knox always talked about when he was my coach with the Rams, he talked about a winning edge. He said you got to be tougher, smarter, and in better condition than your opponent. Well, today, Knox has had the winning edge.
Offense, number 87, first down.
And they have been a little tougher and a little smarter. And at the end of this game, conditioning hurting both teams. You'll see players hanging their heads a little bit. Surprisingly enough, in a dome like this, you would think that conditioning would not be a problem, but the turf takes something out of you. An emotional game like this really drains the energy out of you. A lot of players having trouble right now with cramps. That's liquid loss, and that happens even in a dome like this.
First down and 18. The ball on the 43-yard line. And Randall Morris gets the call again. Last week against the Jets, he ran for 88 yards, 23 carries. He was replacing Kurt Warner. Well, what a comeback off of that knee operation a year and a half ago. Randall Morris.
Suddenly very quiet here in the Kingdom, Charlie.
Yes.
I think everyone is waiting. They're not going home. They're thrilled to see the Seahawks doing this to the Raiders. This crowd is also a crowd that does not like the Raider team. Right. And they're thrilled to see them on the short end of the scoreboard. They're going to stay here and enjoy every minute of it.
The Seahawks converting on turnovers, interception to a field goal, interception to a touchdown, fumble to a field goal, interception to a touchdown, and the fifth one, well, it ended up with a punt, so they weren't quite as successful. But that has been the story of the game. Third down and 11. And here's Randall Morris again. And he will go to the 31-yard line, so he has 5 yards. It'll be fourth down and 6. And, of course, the clock continues to move.
Charlie, those were very negative numbers, and the Raiders have not been able
to goal attempt. He is zeroing in. He got an upright last week, and he hits the bars again today.
Last week it was the left upright. Today it's the right-hand side.
7 minutes and 3 seconds left to go in the ballgame. Mark Wilson on the sideline, being replaced by the rookie Rusty Hilger, only because of the fact that the Raiders are out of this ballgame. Hilger back to throw. Flag is down, and Hilger is down at the 35-yard line. Fred Young makes the tackle. We'll go back and check out the flag. It'll be holding on Bruce Davis. Third time in the ballgame that he's been caught. Here's the reaction of Norm Johnson. Wants it to hook in from the right side.
Looked like it started, Charlie. Just didn't quite continue on.
And his reaction.
Seems to wait forever.
Oh, it does. Oh, yeah.
It's been one of those years. One of those years for Norm Johnson. Such a dependable kicker. Last year went to the Pro Bowl. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a greater performance last year. And we said it earlier. He lost Zorn as his holder. Zorn, of course, starting in that game in Green Bay against Chicago today. Throwing for a touchdown today, playing well. But he is a great holder for field goals and extra points. And that confidence level is so important.
And I think that's something that you overlook when you think about the field goal kicker.
Well, he has never said a word about it. He's never said a word about it, but I'm sure he really misses it.
30-second clock ran down. The margin here is 30 points. First and 25. Hilger's pressure from Green, and he's sacked. Jacob gets in his first sack in the 5th for the Seahawks.
An NFL history Pro Bowler, or Hall of Famer, didn't mean Pro Bowler, although he went to that too. He's got to be frustrated. Kind of day he'd like to throw on his uniform and go back on the field.
Kenny King, the ball carrier, and he just keeps coming. 27-yard line, 19 yards on the play, easily with the tackle. And it'll be third down. While all this is going on the far sideline, we'll go back to a look at Kenny Easley, and I'll bring up my point on quarterback change for the
Easley
Seahawks.
directing traffic on that play and was late getting over into position. Took a shot and missed the tackle. The Seahawks defense employing 7 defensive backs. They have used as many as 8 with 3 down linemen. Catlin, one of the bright coordinators in the league at putting those prevent packages up, right now has 4 defensive linemen and 7 defensive backs in the game.
And it's third down and 15.
6 defensive backs. Gaines is in there as a linebacker.
Far side, the pass going to Tim Moffitt. 39-yard line. Tonight on NBC, we'll be starting with Silver Spoons. At 8 o'clock, the Steven Spielberg Amazing Stories and the big movie.
And you watch this game, and it's as if there's an evil genie up here that just grabs them when they come into town and chokes them.
That may be it. That may be the whole key. Great guy kicking to Paul Scansey, and Scansey takes the fair catch. 42 yards on the punt. We've got a timeout, and the Seahawks have a 30-point lead. Down. The twists and turns of the National Football League. Seattle from their own 18-yard line. Dale Gilbert was loosening up on the sideline, but Dave Craig stays in. There's the time remaining, and now let's look at all the scores. New England defeating Miami in New England.
Miami's had a couple of bad weeks back to back.
Yes, they have. Pittsburgh by 1 over Cleveland. Miami will be hosting the Jets next week. Washington with the big win over Atlanta. Chicago by 6 over Green Bay. Kansas City's in trouble, and Houston's coming back. 23-20. Minnesota at home. Detroit losing. And we'll have more of the scores for you after the play. Second down and 3 at the 25-yard line. Randall Morris with a flag down. If the play stands, he will have the first down, but it will be against the Seahawks in more finals. The Giants by 2. Tampa Bay gets close, but that's it. Cincinnati, boy, they're strange. Hard to figure. They could be in the playoff picture. They keep coming back. 23-17. Here's one of those upsets that go right into upset Sunday, which is every Sunday in the National Football League this year. San Diego over Denver by 20 points. Jets defeat Indianapolis. San Francisco over Philadelphia. The Rams do it to New Orleans, 28-10. And here we still have 3:35 and counting. That is the time remaining.
Lots of threes on the board, and if you just tuned in, no, that is not an incorrect score. That is today's score. If you don't believe it, neither do the Raiders. They don't believe it either. And even the Seahawks have got to be smiling a little bit.
It's kind of one of those that you look around, you keep looking around at the...
Charlie, we talked about Jerry Robinson, new faces on the field. And there he is right there, number 57. They picked him up from Philadelphia. He wouldn't come in to play in Philadelphia. He wants to play in a Raider uniform. You see him getting a piece of the tackle there. Charlie, you said it earlier. Al Davis makes a couple of those moves every year. Players seem to be reborn here. Well, if he gets rolling as he's capable of rolling and gets into that lineup, it'll make this defense even tougher.
Randall Morris again getting the call. Early today in the game between Chicago and Green Bay, the refrigerator caught a touchdown pass to go with the one on Monday night that he scored rushing. I'm wondering, would the Raiders have considered using Howie Long or the Jets' Mark Gastineau?
You might see it with the kind of success Ditka's had with Perry.
Yes.
I asked Howie about that. I said, Howie, would you like to go into the backfield? Howie said, hey, I'll go back there and block. But he said, I don't want to carry the ball. I might fumble it. So, and I said, I asked you, too, about, there's Howie on the sideline. They're giving him a rest now. I asked him about playing linebacker position like Gastineau does. He said, no. I said, I'll let the guy in New York do that. So, like this. And it's something both teams have to remember. The Seahawks walk away with a very happy win. They needed this win. Their backs were against the wall. They got it. The Raiders, on the other hand, are embarrassed in this game. And they've got to go home and get it back together. But they won 5 in a row coming into this game. You can't forget that either, Charlie.
So in reality, they both benefit.
Well, I don't know if the Raiders would agree with that statement. Certainly the Seahawks benefit. They were down. They're hurt. They were counted out by everyone, Charlie. Not expected to be in this game. And here they are not only winning, but dominating this game. This has to give them new life for the second half of the season. The Raiders, on the other hand, just they're going to have to write it off, put it behind them, and get on with their work.
Dave Fincher kicking. Fulton Walker is set for the return. The Raiders will have good field position. Good kick. Rudy hangs this one up. Backs him off to the 36-yard line, to the 40. And goes out of bounds. A 46-yard kick and a 4-yard return. We've got a timeout. By Andy Rosenberg. NFL 85, produced by John J. Filippelli, directed by Bucky Guntz. Sal Nagita, the technical director, and Art Thieveridge. Been working on that, Art, getting closer and closer. Jeff Bryan, number 77. That is the 6th sack in the ball game for the Seahawks.
Familiar number back into the white uniform in the middle of that Raider line. Kurt Marsh, number 60, who's been out with a broken arm. Broke that right arm early in the year, and they are eager to get him back into the game, get him playing again. Some speculation that he may go in and get back into that starting lineup very soon. there he is, and when you see the other arm, there it is, almost a knee-type brace to give that arm support.
2nd and 23. And Rusty Hilger goes out of bounds. I think he was just taking off. He never had time to look downfield. Let's look at the standings, and we're going to assume that Seattle is going to win this game. So here's what the West looks like. Raiders and Denver are tied, but now there's 6-3. Seattle's 5-4. They're just a step back. And then San Diego 4-5 and Kansas City 3-6. I would not have thought those would have been the figures today. Dave Craig.
Perhaps the most pleased individual in the room today, coming off 2 rather ugly performances, and he was terribly down when we saw him in New York after that Jets game. And I'll tell you, he's bounced back and played well today.
Yes, he has. But the Seahawks have played the type of football that they won with last year. And this is the games when Craig lost, he had the bad games. Hilger getting away from the grasp. And he battles his way out to the 33, 34-yard line.
Some of the toughest yards in football right there, running for your life. Very quiet here. Well, it's one way to keep this crowd quiet, Charlie. If you're the Raiders, it's not the way you want to do it, and you get the feeling of frustration from Tom Flores. A lot of relaxation on the other side.
The Seahawks will be at New Orleans, New England at home, then at San Francisco. So they've got
both these teams have tough schedules, Charlie. The Raiders with the 3rd toughest schedule in the league. The Seahawks with the 5th toughest schedule in the league, according to the toughness of their opponents off last year's 1-loss records.
Ray Guy kicking, and Scansey will chase it down the far side. The official was throwing his cap down the far sideline, and what that means is that one of the coverage men had stepped out of bounds and would not be eligible to make a play coming back in bounds. And that's when you see a cap go, that's what it means. 21 seconds left. We've got a timeout. We'll be back.
A lot of people.
As the clock continues on its inexorable march, the Seahawks just falling on the ball, running it out.
Well, if you're a Seattle Seahawk, you can't wait to celebrate. And if you're a Raider, there are 2 things you're worried about: having to get back on that plane and go home, and having to look at the films tomorrow.
The final score, the Seattle Seahawks 33, the Los Angeles Raiders 3. This is